Your kids hang our posters on their walls. You pay big bucks to see us play ball. Yes, you do, Francie. But if you spot us walking in your neighborhood, you call the cops, and you might even shoot us if you could. Yes, you would, if you could. Let me tell you what else you do. You convinced us our Christ was white, yet you wanna kill us in the night in the name of Jesus Christ. Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, amen. In the name of Jesus Christ. You hate Malcolm X and you killed Dr. King. But let me tell you, somebody I know that you love, and it's a big thing. You love Uncle Ben Carson. You love Uncle Ben Carson. Carson. Uncle Ben Carson. Uncle Ben Carson. Carson. But that don't matter to us. You know why? Because we're moving on up to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. We're moving on up, and you can't stop us to the east side. We finally got a piece of the pie. Yeah.
Oh, I've always wanted to sing that song. Wow. Moving on up
to the east side.
To the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky.
And you know what?
Well, let me just tell you, happy Black History Month is on.
Yes.
It's here. It's February. You opened the song, a little political there. You talked about, Whitey hating Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Whitey often says they love Martin Luther King, but they did shoot him. So, I mean, the love wasn't...
They love the dead one.
They love the dead Martin Luther King.
The dead one.
They really into that one.
The one that made that speech.
Yeah.
That's the only part of the speech most of them know. I have a dream. But why did he have that dream? Because he wanted his children to live. That's
Martin Luther King has a lot of speeches, and a lot of them were very radical economic speeches.
That's right.
Whitey allowed that "I got a dream" speech, and it's kind of like he has this dream, but it's like a dream. Maybe it won't become a reality. But when Martin Luther King started talking about stuff like economic inequality and socialism.
Baby. Yeah.
That was going too far.
Too
far, Martin. Too far.
Yeah. You got to be like Dr. Ben Carson.
Dr. Ben, he's out of his job now. Trump is gone.
Yeah.
He kind of went quietly, Dr. Ben. We didn't hear much about him.
Because he's trying to finally get another job.
Yeah, I think he never knew he had a job. That guy proved that you could be a brain surgeon and a moron.
All at the same time.
Nobody ever could believe that before. Like, if you were a brain surgeon, that's like being a rocket scientist. They figure a brain surgeon.
That doesn't mean you have wisdom.
He didn't even have wisdom. The guy was an imbecile.
He had no wisdom.
Dr. Carson.
Well, there were Africans who sold slaves. In every group, you have those people who want to go with the oppressor.
Hey, we had the capos in the concentration
every
camps.
group
Remember
has
that movie
one.
we saw about the capos? These were Jews who the Nazis would give a couple extra pieces of bread to be like snitches and kind of beat the Jews.
Every group has one. Don't kid yourself.
I forget the name of the movie, which would be better if I knew the name of the movie.
It's a great movie.
It was a great movie about the capos and how this capo, his own mother, he let her into the ovens.
That's
but
right.
he did get some extra.
And
bread.
contrary to what people think, when people were put into ovens or when slaves were out there were people that fought. They didn't just go, oh, okay, I'll go.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't that. But, Black History Month is an interesting history because it started out not as a month. And the reason it was placed on this month is because it was close to Abraham Lincoln's birthday.
Oh, I don't think so.
No, I looked it up.
I think it picked it this month because it's the shortest month.
No.
Are you sure about that?
I'm positive.
Look, I don't want to let you know, but like white people, we get together and we have this conversation. All right, we're gonna give them a month. Let's give them February because it's only got 28 days.
No. And, when I used to teach in schools, many years ago, they really went out. Now it's kind of like, well, y'all got Obama, y'all got Jay-Z, what you complaining about? That's offensive. That's offensive. We need to keep educating people about the contributions that Africans who were enslaved came over in America. If you look at music, as much as all y'all love Elvis Presley, where you think he got his shit from? Okay? Chuck Berry. James Brown. Ask Mick Jagger. We saw this awesome...
Excuse me, what's that?
Yes.
Mick. Where did you get... Oh, I mean, he's right over there. There's Mick. Hey, Mick. Mick said he got his music from black people. You're right.
Yeah.
Mick said that, and Keith Richards said if you want to live to 80, 85 years old, drugs... fucking give up the macrobiotic shit.
Yeah, he don't
That's
do
the
that,
way
no.
to do it. Keith
Yeah.
Richards and
Yeah.
Mick Jagger. Give them a round of applause.
Yes.
Thanks for coming by,
Thanks,
guys. The Stones are here tonight.
Yes. Now, when also a lot of times when people talk about the history of black people, you started slavery. Let me tell you something. We had a history before we were slaves, before we were Christians.
Okay. Oh, I like the way you threw that in, too, in your song. That was good.
Yeah.
The white Jesus.
Before we were Christians and Americans. We had a history, which many of you don't know.
We had a culture.
Yes, we had a culture.
Great cultures.
Yes. We spoke many different languages. Yeah. We had many different religions. We had scientists. And it's almost like if you can erase it, then you can act like it doesn't exist. So I am acknowledging and celebrating all of those that are fighting for our history to never be erased.
Yes.
Never
erase it. Never erase it.
No. Now, why do you think, though, Epstein, and you can speak for Whitey.
I am here representing white people. This is my.
Not every white person, but the white person that went to the D.C. We're talking about those white people. Why are white people so annoyed with Black History Month? What do you think?
Well, first of all, it's not just the white people that went to D.C. I mean, they're part of it, but they're not the only ones. Mm-hmm. White people hate certain terms. We hate the terms like Black Lives Matter. Mm-hmm. That pisses off a lot of white people. Mm-hmm. They have to say, well, all lives matter. Yes. Totally missing the point that we know all lives matter or blue lives matter, yes. The police, except the white supremacists, they kill cops and stuff like that, yes. But they're very law and order and they're very pro-blue. We don't like Black Lives Matter. We hated years ago when people used to say black is beautiful.
Yeah, or Black Power.
Black Power.
Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Yeah, they hate that. It's anything black. Anything with the word black in it.
If you got black in it, people, white people have a hard time with it, Hassan. Yes. White people felt like, okay, you got Obama and everything should have been, that should have been it. It should have wiped the slate clean. I mean, I kept hearing that when he first became president, we're in a post-racial America. Yeah. That didn't seem to last too long because post-racial America led right into Nazi America.
Women,
right into Nazi America. I had a good line there, but you stepped on it. I had my Nazi America. I had
you said it 5 times.
Yeah, because I have to, because you're always trying to zoom right in.
Nobody's zooming in on your lines.
But back to why. I have to tell you, because this is I don't have to tell you, but I thought you'd find this interesting, Hassan, because you're asking about white people and what their issue is with anything black.
Yes.
So this happened very recently in Hamilton, Georgia. Mm-hmm. Their police chief, his name was Gene Almond. At first I thought he might have been one of the Almond brothers, but his name is Almond. Hey, Mick, you remember Mick knew the as soon as I said that.
Yeah.
And Officer Josh Brutz. These two men were resigned after the officer had his body cam video out. And they were at the protest when the cops shot the black guy that lasered. Remember, he lasered and he ran? So these cops were there at the Black Lives Matter protest. So what they were talking about was, and they didn't realize that guy's camera was on, they kept using the N-word.
And we're not talking about nothing.
Brooks is his name. I don't know what I called him earlier, but who cares? He's a racist. Brooks also said, he told the chief of police that he had fucked the black woman mayor of the town, whose name is Keisha Buta. He fucked her. He was bragging that he fucked her. But the chief of police, Ullman, responded by saying, if you're going to fuck the N-word, I'm not going to say that word, but if you're going to fuck the N-word, he goes, I'd rather fuck Stacey Abrams because she got a big fat meaty ass. He says this is the chief.
Oh my gosh.
Okay? He says, I like meat on a woman. Then they went on talking, and this is really, I mean, that was bad enough. That was, they both said they fucked ends, but this is even worse. They start talking about slavery, and that slavery had been a really pretty good thing for black people. The chief said, they had a house, they had a job, there was no unemployment. The problem with blacks is they don't want to work, he said. So if you don't force them to work, they'd rather just stay at home and F and fuck, These two guys are bragging, by the way, that they fuck black women, which I find interesting. But that's okay. Whitey's always been a little okay with fucking black women. I hope you don't look at me the same way.
I'm looking out the side of my eye right now.
Right there,
you notice my whole look change, right?
I'd rather fuck you than Stacey Abraham, but that's just Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abraham is a whole other story. I fuck her first. Plus, he said, listen, he goes, both cops agreed with this. And this is the main point Whitey always makes. They said, we didn't have slaves. He goes, I never owned a slave. He goes, my family didn't own slaves. They were slaves 200 years ago. When are they going to get over it? And then they always throw in a kind of other racial thing because they'll bring up how Chinese, or he called them the Chinaman, came over here and he's been able to excel. But the blacks can't excel. So you're asking me, why do white people hate terms like Black Lives Matter and stuff like that? Now you have your answer.
Well, the real answer is real simple.
That wasn't the real answer.
No, that's not the real answer. Okay. The real answer is real simple. White people are in denial about, not all, but many, the history of America. Because if we really faced the history of America, we would be embarrassed. We would,
it's
when
amnesia,
we say we're what is the word? Exceptional. We are not exceptional.
Oh, we know we're not exceptional now. But nobody can possibly believe we're exceptional now. People believe
that, and they think that, and they're not.
Right.
So, when you say that I didn't have slaves, you have privilege. I don't care if you're a poor white. You still have privilege.
But that's always been the thing. Lyndon
Johnson
don't want
to acknowledge that.
Lyndon Johnson said, all you have to do is make the poor white man feel he's superior to the black person.
And it's a done deal.
Do anything that you want. And Lyndon Johnson said that. That's the former president who used to take a shit with the door open while his staff was around him. He made that statement.
And I'm going to tell all of you something you might not think about. We can't end racism till we end capitalism.
Oh,
they go hand in
really
hand.
Deep. You want us to have any listeners whatsoever?
I'm just going to leave that out there.
Okay, all right.
We're dirty truth tellers. I'm just leaving it out there. You don't have to address it.
Sort of like Martin Luther King. Before he talked about that, he was okay. He was MLK.
Yeah, that's okay.
What else do you have?
Well, there's also a history of black and Jew couples, interracial couples.
That's us.
Yes.
Where the history of black and Jew couples.
Yes.
Now, this also came up in the news this week, and this is an unbelievable story. Vice President Harris, who's married to a Jew, by the way.
Yes.
And I'd like to thank Vice President Harris for that, for giving her pussy to a Jew.
That's right.
I'd like to thank you for that.
And he's very comfortable being like
the first man. He's the first man.
He loves it.
He's the
You would like that.
He's only a Jewish guy would be happy being the first man.
You would be okay with that.
Oh, yeah, if you were the vice president, had power. But listen to what happened. In a Texas church, a Baptist church.
Oh.
I never even heard this term. I was unaware of this.
I've heard it before.
But they've been using the term to describe Vice President Harris that she's a Jezebel.
No, this is a white Baptist church.
White Baptist church. The church that most of you black people are in the black part of the Baptist church.
Yeah.
They're praying to Jesus.
And my question always been, when the black Baptists are in their church and the white Baptists are in their church and they're talking to God, which one is God listening to?
God's listening to the white Baptists, I think, much more than the black Baptists.
If you look at the way things are going.
But a Jezebel in the, I guess in the Jim Crow era or whatever, Jezebel was a reference to black women being sexually loose. And they're saying there's a lot of rumors flying around that Vice President Harris was kind of promiscuous in her youth to move up the ladder. Now, I don't know if that's true or false, but it doesn't mean shit. Who cares if she's promiscuous? We just had Trump as president. Okay, let's not get all moral now. Now these are Christians. These are Baptists. These are Christians.
That's right.
And they're in church talking this shit. And then you're going to wonder why they don't want Black History Month. Are black women more promiscuous than white women? That is the most ridiculous, disgusting thing. Now I know that a lot of black women had sex with white men, but it wasn't because they wanted to have sex with white men.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. All of George Washington's black women were not like, ooh, George
Thomas
is coming.
Jefferson.
Yeah,
all
he's coming by tonight. Let's have a cocktail and enjoy it. Yeah.
So, that was like, that really pissed me off. These are religious people. You're religious. You know what I'm saying? Mick hates that. And Mick, was Mick ever married to a black woman?
Yeah, I think he had one.
Oh, no, he had a Latin woman.
Black Cherry. No.
Black Cherry?
No, it was David Bowie.
David Bowie.
Yeah, I bet you Mick
white
had.
British guy. No, Mick was married to, he wasn't married to
but he had some black chicks.
Definitely
Who hasn't? Know that.
Who
hasn't?
Which rock star hasn't fucked black women?
Yeah. Elton John.
You may have a point there. You might have a point there.
That just came to my head.
Well, that's what a comedian does. You get a joke and you say it.
Yeah,
you don't have to then point out that it just came into your head. We all kind of figured that out.
Calm down, Whitey. Calm down.
I hate Black History Month. I'm the typical white guy. What do they need it? What about Jewish History Month?
You have it every damn day.
There've been a lot of Jews and black Jew love. You had Louis Belson and Pearl Bailey.
Yes.
You have Epstein and Hassan.
Yes. Diana Ross's first husband.
One of her husbands was Jewish. I don't remember his name. Yeah. We're always like the guy you kind of can't remember his name.
Yeah.
But that's good. Blacks and Jews. Black Jew love.
Lenny Kravitz's parents.
Lenny Kravitz, obviously. Roxy Roker, the woman from the Jeffersons.
Absolutely.
Let's do it again.
Yes.
We're moving on up to the east side. My son's gonna be a rock star.
Yeah.
So, let's move along.
Yes.
Let's move along because.
Well, there's also a thing. Before we move on, I just want to say there's also a thing that people say. When you get a Jewish man, you're gonna get money.
Who are these people?
I'm gonna tell you. I was working with this woman, a director. And when I first started seeing Epstein, and she's like, wow, that's great. He's Jewish.
No.
He can manage your career now. He can, handle your finances. Let me tell you something. Epstein can't handle no fucking career or finance.
I'm the worst person on earth.
Oh, my gosh.
Hassan has rescued me from all my bad credit. I'm not a manager kind of guy. I'm not.
He's comedy. Okay.
I'm not a manager.
No.
You didn't get Louis Belson was a great drummer. He wasn't a manager, but a lot of the and a lot of bad relationships in the past about Jewish managers and black artists
ripped them off.
That's black artists now are doing much better because now black managers are ripping them off. So at least they're keeping it in the family.
Keeping it right in there.
Because there was a lot of anger towards the Jews and the black community for always ripping off the artists. But today it's much better because now the black managers rip you off, and at least you feel like, at least
it's my kinfolk.
It's my kinship.
Yes.
So
yes. I hear somebody knocking.
Why don't you get the door?
Okay.
Okay. And
sorry, buddy.
But it is an interesting thing. Like a lot of people think that it was just some weird coincidence that February is the month for Black History Month. But I am totally convinced because white people will go out of their way in every way possible to fuck up black people. It's an amazing thing. And yet, as Hassan said, a lot of white kids have pictures of LeBron James in their house and Serena Williams. But then in day-to-day activities, as we've watched the last few years, these they call them Karens, and a lot of women hate when you do that. They don't want to, I have a friend named Karen, and she wrote me this whole thing, don't use Karens. But that's the name. Look, these women who a black person looks at them, and they're calling the police. That bird-watching guy in Central Park, like, she called the cops that he was mean to her dog. All kinds of crazy shit that goes on, and it's all about white guilt. It's all about white guilt. White people are very, very nervous, which we should be, about how we have mistreated black people. You know, black people are super nice. Don't kid yourself. The way that they have been treated in this society up until today, don't give me this bullshit. Black people have no wealth. That's what it's all about. They can't get in the game because they don't have wealth. So you're going to now mention to me a few black people who have busted through that. But that's not enough. That's not enough. I think it's 6 cents to $1. You start, come on in, please. Come on in. Oh, and speaking of black people, it's the great Joe Keys. Joe, welcome aboard, man. Have a seat. The great Joe Keys, the living legend. He's a living legend.
Yeah,
a lot of dead legends, living legends. Yeah. Mick and Keith are saying hello, Joe.
Fuck you, man. I bought you some weed, man. You never paid me for it. Oh, you'll leave the money there? Okay, all right.
So what do you have for us today, Joe?
Let's see, what do I have for you today, man? Let me check. I wrote my notes down. Oh. You know, it's Black History Month, and I'm not going to tell you the name. I want y'all to look it up. I'll see if you're listening to the show. I don't know if many of you ever heard of what we used to call the Green Book.
You just said you weren't going to tell him.
No, I'm not going to tell him who wrote it, I said,
okay,
man.
Okay. Nobody knows who wrote the Green Book.
Oh, yeah, they do. They did a movie on it, man. Is this my segment or yours?
Okay, man. I'm just trying to keep it going.
And I'm going to tell you what
the energy was great with me and Hassan. You're coming in and kind of bringing the energy way down.
It wasn't like, fucking good.
Oh, it was great energy. That was great.
Bullshit. It wasn't
There was some fire between us.
I'll fire my ass, man. So let me tell you, when I was a young man, my family lived in Blackstone, Virginia, and they also lived in Camden, South Carolina. So I used to go down south all the time, and then as I got older and I started playing, I played gigs. Now see, none of y'all never think about this. What was it like for black people traveling in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and some 70s? Well, this Green Book that was created, it gave you the stops that you could stop at, like restaurants, Miss Maddie's Fish and Chip Place, Uncle Ben's Shack, places you could go and feel safe.
You couldn't stay in
because when you're going down south, right, you on the road, you might get killed if you go in a hotel. Another thing is never carry a 20. Because if you go into a white establishment with a 20, they won't give you the change. And then what the fuck you gonna do? So we would play gigs, right? The damn place be full of white people. They love us. But we couldn't stay in the hotel.
See, people don't remember that. They don't know about that.
We couldn't talk to them. We couldn't socialize with them. In fact, when we went to the club, we had to come in through the side.
You couldn't even use the bathroom.
No, you'd piss on the side of the road before you got in and hope you get your dick back in before some white motherfucker see you and get mad because yours is bigger than his and hang you.
You know, Joe, I've often thought that that was funny.
Yeah,
you and Hassan like to point out when you have a successful joke.
Try to get it in, man.
Do you think a lot of racism came about of the fear of the big black cock? I mean, we did a whole show on that.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
We offended a lot of people with that.
It's the fear of the big black cock and the fear of black people.
Getting their revenge.
But I'm going to tell you something, man. Folks would travel and you'd pre-pack everything. Your chicken, you'd have chicken, fried chicken. You might have a cake, pound cake, deviled eggs. You bring your own water, your own liquor, and you put it in a little travel thing, you know, one of them containers.
Now, why did you have to do that?
Because you're not stopping in a store. You'd be killed.
Oh, man.
And you would leave when the roads were, when you were driving, so you wouldn't be that noticed. Like you might leave like 4 or 5 in the morning, or either 12 in the morning, right? You would leave and drive straight through.
Did you hear that report I gave about those cops, though, talking about how slavery was good for black people? There are still people.
Yeah, people feel that way.
There are still people in 2020 what is it, 2021?
Yeah.
2021, there are still people even in 2021 who still feel this way. This is the reason why 75 million people voted for Trump. You know, I know that pisses a lot of people off, and you might have been one of those people. I'm not saying that every single one.
Some black people voted for Trump too, but I just.
But you know why black people voted for Trump? Can I give you my opinion on this? 18% of black men voted for Trump because of the macho shit.
Oh yeah.
You know, Trump is kind of a macho guy. He's macho, which is hilariously funny because he is a soft pussy. Yeah. He's a pussy coward.
Macho.
But a lot of people think he's macho.
But all the musicians that you like, right? Them old school musicians that a lot of people are building.
I'm going to go get the door. I hear somebody coming.
You have no idea what they went through when they were traveling, man. Put your seat back, man. What you doing?
Can't get out of here. I'm trying to get out.
You know, I'm telling you, we would have a gig, right? And we would be jamming. But what would happen is we go to the other side of the tracks, right? The train tracks where the shacks were. They used to call it the chitlin circuit. And a lot of blacks, we would play the chitlin circuit, right? And you might get a side gig, right, where you playing with a white audience, but the blacks are upstairs, the whites downstairs. You never mix. You don't see them. You're playing and they love you. I mean, this shit went on here in Harlem. They go uptown. But what blacks went through to travel, you know, you say that we're lazy. Outside of the American Indians, the indigenous Indians, I don't know another group that went through this shit. But I'm going to tell you something. I don't care what your race is. You a good woman, I'll fuck you. Come on in, man. I don't care.
Joe Keys!
Hey, man, how you doing?
Happy Black History Month, Joe!
Thank you, man.
Thanks, it's great to see you.
You too, man.
Let's have Black History Month.
How's your hair, man?
My hair is crazy. It's a crazy hair that I have. I'm a crazy guy. You're one of my favorite of all the blacks.
Well, you know what I'm talking about, man. The Green Book. There was
the Green. Oh, I read the Green Book.
There was a movie put out and people got mad.
The Green Book. That was about the.
I'm talking, man. Oh. Damn. It was about what black musicians went through, but the family didn't like the way it came out, man.
You know what's interesting? You blacks, you invented all this music, and yet Mick and Keith are billionaires.
Them motherfuckers stole everything.
20,000 chicks, and every once in a while they throw you guys like a bone. Like they'll put one of you in the band as a backup saxophone player. That's how they make it right.
Yeah, see, I remember
these British cocksuckers.
The Beatles came on Ed Sullivan, man. Do you know what that did to R&B? It fucked it up.
The Beatles. But let me, can I have much time? Can I speak for a minute?
What you talking about, man?
This is something you'll be impressed with, Joe, because this is sports, because I'm Stevie Sports.
What you got, man?
I want to take you back in time to 1971. I was a young man growing up in Brooklyn, New York. All right. And I grew up in a neighborhood that was blacks and Jews and Italians. Yeah. The blacks lived in the projects, and the Jews and the Italians lived in the middle.
Right.
In 1971, there was a boxing match, a heavyweight championship fight between Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier at Madison Square Garden. It was the biggest fight of all time.
I remember that, man.
And this is how it was, and this is 1971, Joe.
Yeah.
All the Jews and all the Italians rooted for Joe Frazier. Wow. Why? Because Muhammad Ali, to them, was an uppity guy. He changed his name. He didn't go to Vietnam to fight. Joe Frazier was a black man too, but for some reason, he was the kind of black man that the Jews and the Italians, they liked him.
He was Ben Carson.
He was I wouldn't go that low. That's about it. You can't go that low. Ben Carson is underneath Step and Fetch It. I mean, this is a low man.
Different generation.
But this hatred of Muhammad Ali in 1971, I was a young man. I saw it with my own eyes. I wanted Ali to win. I saw it, but this is what I don't like about American history. It's just like you said about Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
Now, every white person loves Martin Luther King. They hated Martin Luther King in the 60s and 70s. Exactly. Now everybody loves Muhammad Ali. They hated him.
That motherfucker.
They despised him.
Yeah.
This is what white people do. This is what they do.
As soon as you dead,
they love you.
Yeah, when Farrakhan died, they're going to love him.
Just wait till you die and everybody loves you.
Everybody. Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that's all the time I have. I'm watching the clock. I mean, that is all the time I have.
All the time you have, man.
That's it. You were talking about it's Black History Month.
But you got here late. Why?
I don't know, because
Is it snowing outside?
Now, let me tell you something before I leave.
Yeah.
Happy Black History Month. And let me say this to you. I want to apologize to you, personally, for all the bad stuff that's been done to black people since the beginning of America. My personal apology from Stevie Sports.
This motherfucker, man, I love him.
Thank you.
No.
Hey.
No, we not doing that. We not doing that. The motherfucker gonna hug me unless we going to bed together.
Well, man, I was just hanging out with Mick and, woo!
Did you get high, man?
I'm not going to say that. This is it's a family show.
All right, I'm gonna go over and hang with him, man.
No. Oh, you got to go, too. I forgot you got to go.
Yeah, I
We were
gotta
closing
go,
the show
man.
with you,
Nah,
man.
fuck that shit.
Oh, I thought we were closing.
No.
Oh, come back quick. Come back quick.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to personally say that I've never been a big fan of the Rolling Stones, but hanging out with those two guys is it's just, I feel they came to visit us in our tiny Greenwich Village apartment. They're really regular guys when you get to know them. Been interesting, and this whole Ben Carson, talking about Ben, he was a hell of a housing commissioner, whatever his job was. He's gone. Betsy DeVos is gone. That whole insane lunatic bunch, Mike Pompeo, Mike Pence. It's just so nice to not see them on television. And the what's her name's running for governor of Arkansas now, the Huckabee Sanders, and that other one is going to go work for Fox News, Kylie McEnany. That whole crew of disgusting human beings, these grifting, pathetic, ball-licking human beings.
Take care, Joe.
I hope I haven't offended any of our Trump followers. We'll tell you next week. We did get our first really negative comment about our show. It wasn't even from a Trump person, but we'll get to that in our next show. We don't want to give everything away tonight. So let's do a quick. We do our every show. We do a shout out and we do a fuck you. So what's the shout out?
The shout out is to Pee Wee Marquette.
Pee Wee Marquette.
Pee Wee Marquette. Now, you might not know him, but if you know anything about the jazz world, he was very, very important in the jazz world. He was a maitre d'.
He was a doorman.
He
was a doorman and the announcer at Birdland Jazz Club on Broadway.
Yes.
And
I don't know. I saw two different things. He was under 4 feet, so he might have been 3.5 feet. It was between 3.5 and 4 feet.
I don't want to use any terminology because I think my terminology is no longer accepted. Mm-hmm. What do we call people who are like under 4 feet?
Just say under 4 feet.
Under 4 feet, because now, I mean, you can offend people. I don't know what the correct words are. Yeah. But Pee Wee Marquette, he would announce the bands, and he was very famous. He'd always yell out the announcements. And I was a jazz doorman, and the highest compliment I ever received was from Art Blakey, who told me that I was the best jazz doorman / announcer since Pee Wee Marquette. But I didn't hustle people. Like, if you didn't give Pee Wee Marquette a good tip, he would mispronounce your name or announce the wrong
He did that
thing.
to his well-known Bobby Hutcherson.
He did it to a lot of people. That was his shtick. I was more of a straight-ahead guy. But one night, Art Blakey was playing at Sweet Basil. It was a very small crowd. It was the third set. It was probably a very bad weather. I don't remember. But I introduced him, and I said, ladies and gentlemen, it's Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. On the stage, he called me out and said, if you don't want to do this job, Pee Wee Marquette. And I had to yell out, ladies and gentlemen, Sweet Basil's Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. Yeah. That's what he loved. So Pee Wee Marquette. Yes. He's probably dead now.
That's okay. We're giving you a shout out.
Shout out for Black History Month.
Every History Month, we're going to introduce, and you can look up. He did a great interview on Letterman show.
Old David Letterman on YouTube.
David Letterman show.
Pee Wee Marquette.
Look him up. Yes.
And
fuck you.
Fuck you. Who is the fuck you to? Did we make a decision on that? Did we come to a final decision on the fuck you?
No, we didn't.
We did. So let's just do what we always want to do anyway.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Ted Cruz.
Yes.
We'll fuck you every single show.
Fuck you,
because you are
baby.
such a Weasley. You're the man whose father killed JFK.
Oh.
So fuck you. This is like 3 fuck yous in a row. Fuck you, Ted Cruz. And I hope they throw you out of the Senate.
Yes.
I really do.
Yes. And Ocasio, don't break down on him.
Oh yeah, because now she's becoming
don't buy his
don't
bullshit.
buy any of his shit. He went to Harvard, this guy. He knows what he's doing.
That's right.
So Ted Cruz.
Don't underestimate him.
Fuck you.
That's right.
Happy Black History Month.
Bye, everybody.
The Jackies will be joining you in just a minute.
Happy Black History Month, man!
What the hell is Black History Month?
What's a celebration that black people celebrate because white people? Well, what are you doing to the camera, man?
I don't know. Something happened to the camera.
Somebody did something. It's
I thought there was a lot of tension between Epstein and Hassan. It might have been this Black History shit.
Well, why does he have tension?
No, because she was looking at him like, oh, he's a
Well,
white
he's a
guy.
whitey, yeah.
He's fucking me.
Yeah,
There's
well,
something
she
wrong
has
with that.
feelings during that month, yeah.
She does, right?
Yeah,
During Black History Month.
I do too, man.
Did you? I heard she beats his balls.
Well, who
during Black
wouldn't,
History
man?
Month.
He just beat his ass.
Beat his ass.
For Black History
For Black
Month.
History Month.
Yeah.
She makes him scream out shit like Black Power.
Say it again.
Black Lives Matter.
Say it again.
Black is beautiful.
Yeah.
That's what she does.
Yeah.
And guess what? Happy Black History Month, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Fuck Niels.